sometimes overlook and sometimes also hides behind the unity of the organized labor, and which is also something that I raised earlier on, that it might take a very strong-willed person to address the issue of the Nigerian civil service. But do we have those people in government as we speak? My guest is the executive director of the Extra Step Initiative, and today he joins us via Zoom. Eugene Abels, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that this is an offshoot of a conversation you and I had earlier, I think late last month, and you insisted that we must have this conversation, and I said we can't go there. I'm guessing you guessing you might have a lot of enemies after this conversation. But we're talking about the Nigerian civil service and how many would term them as a principality and a power. In the context of Nigeria's civil service hegemony, we could be talking about, a group of people who have dominated because of their special interests within the civil service structure, potentially leading to imbalances of power and influence. And this can actually manifest in various ways, such as the dominance of certain ethnic and regional groups, the influence of political interests, or the perpetuation of certain bureaucratic practices. My guest is going to give us a breakdown. I would love to give you a breakdown, but that's why my guest is here. I'm sure that if we took a poll now and said, out of 10, 1 out of every 10 or 2 out of every 10 persons must have had one experience with one government office or the other, or one civil servant or the other. And this is detailed for all the government offices across the states of the Federation. But let me start by asking Eugene, how did we get to this point where the civil service has become a principality of itself? Because, many times we blame the political appointees who are just there for 2, sometimes 4 years, sometimes 6 years. These civil servants have been there 30 to 35 years and running.
Well, first of all, we need to ask who is a civil servant and where can we find them. Civil servants are permanent employees who are found at the federal, state, and local governments. They are found in the executive, the legislature, and in the judiciary. You might be wondering why the legislature, they're the clerk and the administrative staff who run things. These people are more in number than the elected officials whom we send there every 8 years at most, the maximum for certain offices like president, governors. You can't do more than 2 tenures. Total number of elected officials nationwide is about 16,000 people. Meanwhile, the number of civil servants nationwide should be in excess of 2-3 million people, let's say 5 million people. And whenever they're so special to us. So whenever you hear that Nigerian Labour Congress is going on strike, they're not going on strike because of the factory workers. They're not going on strike because of Maryann, who works in Nigerian Info. They're going on strike because of the civil servants. And once the people at the federal level are sorted out, they forget the people in the states. And that's why you find that some states, as we speak, certain aspects of the agreement have not been implemented. If they're very viable people, by now they should have shut down the system to insist that what is good for the goose should be good for the gander. You said something that they will hate us. No, you might be amazed. A lot of civil servants don't even know who they are and the responsibilities they owe the country. Because if they know, the way they buried our commander-in-chief on Tuesday shouldn't have happened that way. Protocol should have taken charge. And if protocol had been done accordingly, all those on the president sent a jet so that the former commander-in-chief will not be put in the hull of an aircraft. So he flew in our former Air Force One. All passengers on the aircraft should have come down through the back door. 6 young boys and girls of the military, 2 for Navy, 2 for Air Force, 2 for Nigerian Army, will have boarded the aircraft and come down in an organized step from the aircraft with the casket, with the vice president alone walking behind that casket. as they come down from that aircraft, the commander-in-chief, President Bola Tinubu, will be taking a salute to receive that body. While a march past is done, 21 gun salutes will happen. Then before they proceed to Daura, where the governor will receive the president and the body of the former commander-in-chief, and this will be handed over to the Islamic clerics for family activities and so on. If I had my way, we'll have done 1 hour in Abuja, then still meet up the Islamic rights and time in Katsina. If the civil servants had been on top of their game and had done what they're supposed to do, that madness that happened in Katsina, where everybody was struggling to carry the casket, shouldn't have happened. That is the casket of a general who fought the Civil War, a one-time military head of state, and a 2-time civilian president. It shows you where we are. Now back to the conversation. In the definition of civil servants, they come in certain shades. Some of them bear arms. Paramilitary, civil defense, customs, immigration, and the rest of them. Some of them wear wigs, like the judges, magistrates, and so on. Then some of them are in mufti, the permanent secretaries and the directors you meet everywhere. And these people are permanent employees of the government. And the nation, every nation, disposes upon them, grants them the responsibility of securing the government and ensuring that the constitution is protected, 1. 2, that whatever actions they carry, that governance will be easy for the people. So that those people who just come and go, who are elected people, do not rape the people nor abuse the people. No politician can take any kobo if a civil servant does not sign that thing. If the civil servants were on top of their game, all those signing documents for the illegal sole administrator in River State will not be signing those things because it's against the law. That office is an aberration. It does not exist. It is alien to the Constitution and the civil service, the Public Acts rules and the rules which governs the public service does not recognize the appointment or suspension of any arm of government. So our civil servants in Nigeria have forgotten why they're employed, what their responsibility is, that their loyalty should be to the Constitution and to the people of Nigeria and not to the elected official who will live at most 8 years. He will leave that office.
I like how you have laid that foundation because, the truth is there are lots of people who are civil servants and really don't know their rights or their responsibilities. They just know that they have a permanent job. One way or another, their salaries will be paid whether they show up to work or not. But then when the civil servants are now making it look like it is them versus us. For example, I go to a certain office, I'm a youth corper, and I need certain papers to be signed or moved from one table to the other. And someone tells me if I don't bring 5K, the paper will not move from downstairs upstairs. Everybody has been paying you don't want to pay, okay, call police or that's your business.
Good.
I wonder to myself why we think that this is normal, because yes, it might be a total stranger, but another day it might be your child in another state facing the same thing from a civil servant. Why do we allow this to fester? And this is now modus operandi, and that's why at the airport
let me help you with an example.
Great.
Don't you find it, I find it very delightful when I see civil servants protesting that their pensions are not paid. You were in office. You did not insist for those contributions to be made. Now you're out, like that policeman crying that it's only 2 million. You were in office. You were forming loyalty. You didn't insist that the right thing should be done. But you were forming that, look, what I do is, what I will mark time So that when it gets to my turn, this oga go see me as lawyer. So let me go I go arrange myself. How many offices are available? How many budget lines are available for you to exit, for everybody to get? Yeah. So out of every 100, 5 people might get to such positions then. Yeah. So I find it always interesting and delightful when I see them crying.
Yeah,
And
but can
protesting.
you blame them? Because there are those who would tell you that being a civil servant means that you only can sing the praises of the government. You cannot be seen to criticize. One of the reasons why I left working in the civil service into the private sector was because I would leave my boss after an event or after some meeting in the office, and I'll go straight to the radio station and question some things that I saw in government house, which made my boss always jittery because he would say yeah, I know you are trying to do your job, but they will fire me and you. So how do you expect these people, sincerely, how do you expect civil servants to speak up while in office when it is an unwritten code that you cannot criticize or push for anything that makes you seem like you're against the government of the day?
That's why we gave you Nigerian Labour Congress. We gave you Pengasin. We gave you ASU. We've given you everything. Don't forget, you're not the first to occupy those positions. People took risks back in the days to even get the conditions which you are enjoying today. Like we were speaking now, remember when we started, this would then go hate us or this. No, we're educating. We're talking about it. Even if we say anything that is a lie here, they have a right to feel anyhow they want to feel. What is your contribution? Who are you in the Nigerian conversation? What is your contribution? It's your Nigerian net all about protecting your pockets. What about your children? Like you rightly said, when it rains, it pours. It won't touch you here. It will touch your child somewhere else. So whatever you don't confront, you anything you're unable to confront, you won't be able to change it. We're not saying being disrespectful. I'm your PAMSEC or I'm a director, and the pension scheme have been thought out by people under Obasanjo, and people are contributing. When it comes to your own, all of you are forming loyalty. You round up your director and beat him up. Beat him up.
Why?
So that he pays your pension.
Why would you be encouraging violence?
Yes, because if you refuse to do it, because you're supposed to be representing us. I was a procurement manager, senior staff. I think I was about 23 then, in a plastic firm with over 2,000 people. When they started forming, doing one kind, and I was close to the owners, I went and registered the senior staff association, polymer association. I got ourselves into unionized. It came at great risks at that age, but I did it. We will have democracy today. People didn't put their lives on the line. We're not saying be insolent. We're not saying be unreasonable. I'm just saying that basic fundamental things. Most of you get your budget. You don't even receive 10% of the budget. You're keeping quiet. The public is abusing you. I have seen situations where you go to teaching hospitals, doctors are putting hands in their pocket to buy gloves and paying for patients, and you're keeping quiet. The elected officials are just 16,000 some people. You are over 2 million. If all of you come out to say today enough is enough, it will not happen. Won't things change? Things will change. But you're waiting for Angel Gabriel that spoke to Elizabeth and Mary to come here and tell us to fight for you. We shouldn't even use the middle of the word. When they are raising those store in advance, you raise the voucher for your pension. So try and pay this. If not, my staff will beat me up. Is that too much to ask? It's not. Let's even leave the part of what they're doing in River State and where they're not taking up responsibilities to put protocols in order and so on, to ensure that aspects of the constitution are obeyed. And so the graft agencies imagine that the federal government who manages the graft agencies, EFC, ICPC, Code of Conduct, Police Fraud Unit, blah, 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 NFIU. instead of following the money to local government, runs to the Supreme Court to complain that governors are not giving. Meanwhile, these local government chairmen, the accountant general, the treasurer, the HPM, they don't have immunity. So you can put pressure on 74 local governments and follow the money and ensure that the money gets to where it's supposed to get to. Do you need, it's not that you're going to the Supreme Court. As Supreme Court now jumps up and says, ordering. You cannot order a constitutional amendment. No. Just do your job. So where we are today, I was talking to a couple of kids, young people yesterday, and I told them that after the war in Port Harcourt, there was no light, there was no water. I was chasing one of my chickens. Every child then had chickens, pigeons, and a small farm, a small garden.
In 10 seconds, because we need to go on a break. Go. In 10
you come from school, you go and check things you learned. You come and practice them at home. And bottle almost removed my toe. I was taking Port Harcourt General Hospital. There was no anesthesia. They held me and stitched that toe.
99.3 Nigerian.
We have to go on a break. We'll be right back.
There's only one destination to go to for your Geely vehicle service now, and that's the new representative, Koscharis Motors. Geely has found a new home. If you've had your Geely vehicle for 3 years or more, we would like to invite you to continue the thrill with Koscharis Motors. Book your service at Koscharis Motors to experience a more professional after-sales by certified Geely technicians. For appointment booking, call or WhatsApp 0802 772 5779. Koscharis Motors, value for money.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Success is like an aeroplane. You only see the graceful flight high up in the sky, but not the roaring powerful engines propelling it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done, funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as ValueCard, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com. Unified Payments, unifying businesses for people.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet of Cerelac Junior comes with the nutrition they need: natural grains, protein, and iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
There's only one destination to go to for your Geely vehicle service now, and that's the new representative, Koscharis Motors. Geely has found a new home. If you've had your Geely vehicle for 3 years or more, we would like to invite you to continue the thrill with Koscharis Motors. Book your service at Koscharis Motors to experience a more professional after-sales by certified Geely technicians. For appointment booking, call or WhatsApp 0802 772 5779. Koscharis Motors, value for money.
Hey ladies, do you know Nigerian women are celebrated for their radiant glowing skin? That's right. But with a hot sun, protecting our skin can be a challenge. Good news! Perfectio by Vitabiotics UK gives you targeted support for great looking skin, hair and nails. Packed with biomarine collagen, botanical extracts, and other micronutrients which contribute to skin hydration and radiance while reducing other skin imperfections. Available in pharmacies near you. Perfectil, beauty from within.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with the new improved Maggi chicken flavor, made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
What you're about to taste is so hot, it's got basket mouth singing.
Meaning Niger pepper flavor. Yeah. Meaning Niger pepper flavor. Chris. Heat.
Nothing brings the heat like the bold taste of Mini Me Noodles Niger Pepper Flavor. Try it today and see for yourself. Mini Me Noodles Niger Pepper Flavor. Slurp it like it's hot.
What can your bank do for you? Meet Jane, 25 years old. She's been having troubles acquiring a loan from her bank.
This is not okay at all. I've been on this queue forever, and you're saying I should fill another form. What's going on?
What can your bank do for you? Meet Frank, 27 years old, held up in traffic and making fruitless transactions.
Mama, I have saved the airtime, even the electricity charges. I don't know why it's so difficult making this payment.
Introducing Sufri, a lifestyle digital bank designed just for you. With one click, you can make easy and fast payment transactions, pay bills, and even acquire easy loans. Hurry and download the Sufri app on your Play Store. Visit sufrisufri.com for more information. Sufri, borderless banking.
Alright class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
We're still talking about the civil service in Nigeria. We're talking about their rights, their responsibility, and what must be done for us to move from where we are to where we need to be. My guest is Eugene Abels. He is the executive director of the Extra Step Initiative. Maybe we need that extra step and initiative to grow this country. Now, before we went on that break, you were telling us about an accident you had as a young child. Yes, I want to hear that story.
Yes, I thought I was chasing one of my chickens when I was a kid, back in Port Harcourt, just after the war. And I stepped on a bottle, almost took off my toe, so they rushed me to General Hospital. There was no anesthesia. That's how we started life in Port Harcourt. After the war, there was no water, there was no light. So people held me for that leg to be stitched. So, but
wow,
a few years down the line, the civil servants, led by 23-year-old governor, set up structures that if you went to a private school, you were a house help. If you were born in a private hospital, you were a house help. Civil servants made those things happen. If your secondary school suspended you because you were involved in truancy and you refused to carry out the punishment and you leave Port Harcourt to go and get admission in Kano, the school in Kano will insist you get a reference letter from your former school or they will not admit you. Civil servants made all those things possible. What went wrong? Why are they betraying Nigeria daily?
Could it also be that crop of civil servants, maybe because of the experiences that they had right before the war and after the war, that must have informed their mindset to want change? But then could it also mean that the ones that we have now are being spoon fed and life has been really good, or maybe a bit rosy? I don't know. I'm just saying, because I mean, I'm on your side. I'm trying to understand what would have informed this very lethargic, outlook that we have now in terms of the civil service.
For every of our actions, there's always a reason. People will give you more than sufficient reasons. So a lot of people blame it on the purge under Murtala Mohammed, that purge that happened of the civil service, where a lot of them suddenly lost their jobs and started living in penury. So a lot of them. But like, there must always be a reason. But the question is, can we just step down a bit? Look at today, professors are being used to rig elections. Illiterates use professors of universities to rig elections. That's where we are. So whether it be the judiciary, the opinions about the judiciary, it's not. If you go on Twitter and on X now, talk about the judiciary, I doubt if any judge would like to wear his regalia and walk with me along Balogo. He will not find it funny. He or she will not find it funny. So, is it the police? Is it the military? The story is the same everywhere. We cannot keep giving excuses for not doing what you're supposed to do. Why are you a civil servant? Do you owe Nigeria anything? Nigeria has been catering for you. If you go among civil service, you see so much qualified people. So if it's qualifications you want, because they go to school, they do their businesses, a lot of them are wealthy. But what are you giving back to Nigeria? Nigeria is bleeding. Whether it be at the local level, at the state level, or the federal level. How long can we keep up this? Look at what happened in Katsina. Hey, that thing. How long? Well, the politicians have not been trained. You remember some of the Labour Party people who got offices, some were not that educated. I'm not saying just restricted to Labour Party. I'm just saying, using that as an example. But you as a civil servant, for you to be a level 10 officer, level 12, level 13, 14, 15, Nigeria has invested so much in you. What about the Nigeria of tomorrow? Now you're even bringing your children into the system, smuggling them in gradually to take over from you. What are you giving back to Nigeria? Will those children you're putting in the service, will they be able to retain that service with the way things are going?
How do we break that mentality? Because it's one thing to talk about the problems, we need to talk about the solutions. For example, I used to have a colleague, he was the junior accounting officer in the accounts department for my state radio, because I started my journey from the state media. And like clockwork, he'd come to work. At the time we had Sevicom. Sevicom was a thing. And they'd say Sevicom is watching you. He would come to work, sign in, the time he came to work. And then he would carry 2 plastic buckets, one of moi moi and one of buns. And he goes to the Federal Secretariat to sell it while he's supposed to be at work. And he doesn't come back till maybe around noon, or I'm not joking, like clockwork. And for me at the time, I was a contract staff. I wasn't a full civil servant at the time. And I would query, and say, where do you always go with this your puff puff and moi moi? He would say he's going to help his wife to sell it. And I said, on company time. He said, is it your father's work? And this is something that we hear a lot in the civil service. It's not your father's work, meaning that we don't treat it as something that we own. So how do we solve it? If this is the attitude towards service, how do we change it? Is there any going back?
Well, leadership should have been able to solve it. But immediately the politicians come into office, by the second year, they're thinking about extending their tenure, coming back for a second term. So they don't want to rock the boat. I know the civil servants now, the law permits them to be political. They're politicians. They are members of political parties now. So they are loyal both in the party and they're loyal both in the office. So even when opportunities occur, they first of all look at who are their party loyalists before those, there are political appointments inside the civil service, like permanent secretaries or director generals, the heads of MDAs and so on. So all of this is on the table. So it comes back to us, with the people, for we to begin to say no. Now, at least for policemen, now they're a bit careful on the road because they know that somebody might be filming them. But it doesn't mean that anything drastic has been done. Because if the current Inspector General of Police decides to adopt the old approach, on your appointment, you tore all your formations to see the state of affairs, hear from your men, and you make your deployment and appointment based on what you have seen on ground. But I don't think I've not heard that the Inspector General of Police, the current one, has taught his formations in the country. Just like the president, who has not taught the nation. Just as most governors too have not taught their local governments. Just like most local government chairmen have not taught the villages and towns underneath them. And we, the people, are looking at them and not insisting that those things are done.
Eugene, I'm going to throw you under the bus because I've been having all week a back and forth with Nigerians on taking action and doing what needs to be done for them to take their country back. And half the time they say, what's the essence of going to vote if your vote is not going to count? So I'll throw you under the bus and open up the phone lines. You talk about, they say talk is cheap. We keep talking about how we must take advantage. You continuously, every time you come on the radio, every time we have conversations, you're talking about the fact that we are the ones who are going to change the country. It's not the politicians. But then the average person who is listening now is saying, how are we supposed to do? I beg, Oga, don't stress us. So I'm going to open up the phone lines and let you be the guy that they come for. 0201 277 0993 0201 465-7190. You can join the conversation on Facebook and YouTube live. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, Nigeria Info FM. On WhatsApp, it's 08095975-805. If you're listening from outside of the country, you can join the conversation on WhatsApp, 08095975-805. Yes, only those in diaspora can call. Let's go. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening, Princess Maryann Okon.
Leave me, please.
This is Pastor Ladipo.
Go ahead.
Maryann, your guest. Good evening to your guest. Your guest is suggesting that they should beat these people up. I think if we are going to find solution to this thing, we should begin to focus on the psychophants. They aid some of these people to do what they are doing. For instance, if it's somebody you know who just became an overnight either councillor or a director of a place, suddenly and when one person tried to question, you see about other voices trying to shut the person down. So I believe that if we begin to focus more on psychophants and they don't have hallelujah voice around them, I think they'll begin to think twice.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Did you hear him? He said we need to start with the sycophants. He's saying that the sycophants are the problem. That every time someone raises an alarm about something, that there are other people who are dissenting voices that are louder than you that say, no, don't do like that. That maybe if we must bring about change, we have to start with the sycophants, not necessarily the directors.
I think I would like to redefine that word sycophant. The man you call a sycophant is a man who has deliberately taken a position that I want to be relevant in that conversation. Hello.
But then he's pointing you in the wrong direction, or rather he's shouting you down.
Because of his gain, what his perceived gain will be.
So
that's how life is. You cannot deny the devil his right to do his job. So you step on the side, you step on the psychophant. Insist on your position.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann. Good evening to you and your guest.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I get your guest correctly, I think he said those in the civil service don't realize the kind of power they wield. Or maybe they realize it and then they are not wielding it enough to put the politicians or those who have put them in power, who have put them in their workspace, they don't wield that power enough to put them in check. That is why when they're supposed to make demands, they're not doing the needful and pushing it in their faces. My question is, aside the fact that even if they've realized the kind of power they have, how did they begin to change this narrative? Like you said, how did they begin to change this narrative to make sure it reflects their reality? Or is it that we ourselves are responsible for the kind of leaders we vote into power? And that is why we decide to just leave them, be subservient to them while they subjugate and oppress us. I don't know if I believe he got my question.
I'm sure he did. Eugene. How? Did you hear everything she said?
No, I didn't.
I'm wondering why you can't hear the colors.
Maybe my hands are not clean.
Anyway, she's saying that how do we get these people or begin to change the narrative? She's asking the same question I asked. How do we face these guys and tell them our truth?
You remember how bitter the politics in Rivers State was in 2015 because of the role Amechi played in the APC gang up against Jonathan, which became a carryover to the Wike tenure, Wike being a governor. So each election, both elections in Rivers State were very deadly, very intense, violent, and very dramatic. You remember when we started the Stop the Suit campaign? The PDP said that the APC was funding us, led by me, to discredit the like one word, to demarket Rivers State. The APC said that PDP had funded me to embarrass President Buhari. But I knew this would happen. So we were focused on what we wanted to do. And by the grace of God, even Wike eventually joined the Stop the Suit campaign. Came on
and of course, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, was interested. Yes.
You didn't see him?
I did remember. I remembered.
Everybody. Yeah. Yes. But it was dangerous because you could be killed back in the days, 2015, 2016, 2017. A lot of people were killed in Rivers State. Now, but maybe because of my own upbringing, being a Marxist, the kind of times we went to school and what we believed in advocacy and the rest of them. I'll show you something. Everybody's complaining about President Tinubu's government. The group of people that said that the coalition, and they want to go and run the elections with the same rules governing INEC. And INEC is the only government agency in the whole of the world, including the White House, that takes money from Parliament, renders the service, and when Maryann complains, INEC tells Maryann to go to court and prove the case that INEC didn't render my service properly. But if we turn it around, if the people insist that there will be no election until we'll amend the law and, if necessary, the constitution, not that when we amend the act, they will tell that this constitution does not recognize it. We amend the act, the law that says that INEC must be accountable, one, for all the elections, every service she renders. Two, officers will be held accountable. The INEC chairman will be brought to the dock to account for the services he rendered, because he came, when it was time for budgeting, he didn't send representatives. He went by himself. Now, three, INEC must show us members of political parties on their websites with their name. So if anybody is leaving a political party, he automatically informs INEC with his name. So they remove your name here, and you go that not towards the election, people will start going to court, fighting for party register. That's where we are. Now they're fighting for who is the leader of a party. Imagine that happening in Britain, that doesn't even have a constitution.
A written constitution.
So we the people are not thinking. We're not thinking. If we're thinking, we allow the politicians to set the conversation, control the narrative, tell us what to think, tell us what to have conversations about. I've said it on this program. Nobody must, no, we must not, the next elections, we must not vote party insignia. We must vote individuals. How can I send a person to the National Assembly or the House of Assembly or the Constitutional Assembly at the local government level, and I have not seen him debate? Debate must be compulsory. We will insert it. Qualifications must be compulsory. How do you go to the legislature, whether at the national, state, or local government level, if I don't know you understand a modicum of English, that you have a modicum of education to understand lawmaking and understand budgeting process? Even if you don't understand, if they teach you that you can learn. If you're a fisherman, you won't learn it. It's not possible. You just be wearing traditional attire and be appearing on. You be wait and talk. Okay, then vote yes. Yeah, you just join the yeah.
Let me take another quick call.
Do these things.
Let's take another quick call.
There's an Institute of Democratic Studies.
Okay.
There's an Institute of Democratic Studies. There are democratic institutions that have been set up, run by civil servants. Are they functional? Are they functional? So we, the people, we need to change. We need to ask ourselves, what are the rules? Why will Lagos be shut down to conduct local government elections? I have BVN, international passport, driving license, NIN, and a mobile phone now. If you go to Brazil, you cannot buy a SIM card if you don't show your national identity. So if you don't have, a national must sign for you. So if you do anything wrong, they know who to trace. So what is all this? What are we doing?
Let's take another call because we have just 3 minutes to go on the conversation. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello? Oh dear. Do call me back if that was you. Let's take this call on WhatsApp. Hello, Irabuchi. Where are you calling us from?
Yes, so I am excited to listen to your guests. By the way, my name is Irabuchi. You've already called that. The man is talking to Nigerians in parable. If you understand, you understand. Why is it that there is an incremental retrogression in Nigeria? My father worked in the army. He told us stories. My father worked in the civil service after the army. He told us stories. Some I saw. Things worked. 1980, 1990, he depreciated. Towards the 2000s, he depreciated. He continued depreciating while all over the world, there is an incremental progression. But in Nigeria, it's an incremental retrogression. And there is no hope. These politicians came 1999, and even damaged the whole situation.
10 seconds, Irabuchi.
When they started, they were paying all those things. They pay retirement, gratuity. As I'm talking to you now, you don't even get retirement. There's nothing like gratuity again in government. You only fight for the pension, which you don't even see. So the problem, which I've always continued to talk about, is what do we do with the electoral process, which is the engine room that puts all these people in power. At the end of the day, they continue to render the government ineptitude.
All right.
This is very unfortunate. I love that man. Let him continue riding on.
Thank you very much, Irabuchi, for calling. Irabuchi is calling us from England. I have just 1 minute before we wrap things up. So the last caller from England, Eugene, obviously supports the idea that we need to do something about our electoral process. The politicians are strategizing, and nobody's talking about good governance. Nobody's talking about giving us light, power, roads. Nobody cares about it. They're talking about 2027, and we are waiting for them to throw up somebody that we think we may like, and then we might just vote for the person. We don't know if the person really does care about us. They might shapeshift and act like they like us, or they're the men of the people or women of the people. What should we do in 60 seconds? What do we do now? Because we have barely 2 years before 2027.
All the drama you saw in Katsina, everybody is trying to inherit Buhari's 12 million voters, supposed 12 million voters. Everybody. Now, so what should we do? The people, if you're a civil servant, the state of affairs of the nation shows that you have betrayed this country. You need to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Yeah. Is this how you want to continue to run things? And for we the people, stop allowing the politicians show us what to think for. Father Cooker said, don't pray for a good man to lead you. Look for a mechanic. If your BMW needs repairs, don't look for a good man. Look for a good mechanic. We need competence.
Fixers.
We don't need a Muslim or a Christian, young or old. We need a competent person.
All right.
Who will be willing to take us to the next level. And the way to get him must come from us. Not from the politicians. Politicians will protect their own, and it is their right. You cannot tell the devil not to do his job.
All right. I'm not going to forget that particular phrase. Eugene Abels is the executive director of the Extra Step Initiative, and he joins us live from Rivers. Are you in Rivers or you're in Abuja? Because I don't know who you are now. You're in Abuja. Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Eugene. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, lovely. All right, Lagos, we want to thank you all for being part of the conversation. This is how I race out of the studio. Yvonne is here with the news at the top of the hour. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO. Better still, you could join Nigeria Info on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Nigeria Info, or download our mobile app, www.nigeriainfo.fm. Take us everywhere you go. I'm Maryann Okon. I love you guys. Tomorrow is Hard Facts Awards. I can't wait to see you.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as